Hi, I'm Ryan Szymanski, curator for Battleship New Jersey Museum and Memorial, and today we've got a slightly different pictures worth 1,000 words for you. So, this picture was recommended by a number of you guys, and while it does show Battleship New Jersey, it does not really show her very close up in a way that we can determine much about the ship itself. However, it does show another interesting battleship that was operated by the U.S. Army before and during part of World War II. And that is El Fraile Island, also known as Fort Drum, also known as the Concrete Battleship, Battleship Island, or the Unsinkable Battleship. This picture is of Battleship New Jersey in 1983, right after she's been recommissioned. She's sent over to the Western Pacific, and here she is passing between the island of Cavite and the island of El Fraile on her way into Manila Bay. El Fraile, but Fort Drum guarded the entrance to Manila Bay, and Admiral Dewey's squadron of American cruisers sailed past it in 1898 on their way to fight the Battle of Manila Bay. There was some fire from shore batteries there, and some counter-battery fire from the American warships. But by and large, the island had no effect on the American forces during the battle. At that point, the United States had colonized the Philippines, and like other colonial powers, they set about defending their new strong point. During this time, President Roosevelt directed his Secretary of War, William Howard Taft, to review the fortifications of the United States and its new colonial empire, including the coastal fortifications of the Philippines. And among other things, Taft had ideas to add electricity, to add more electric lighting, specifically like searchlights to detect incoming attacks, and also ideas for fortifying the new American colonies. And this included needing more shore batteries to protect the southern approaches to Manila Bay, the ones that Dewey himself had sailed through with little opposition. And so the Army Corps of Engineers was directed in 1909 to level El Fraile Island. Check out this picture of it before it got turned into the concrete battleship. And build up a concrete base on it, which could hold a gun battery. Interestingly, shore artillery is rated at 3 times as effective as sea-based artillery. Part of this is because its defenses are usually better protected. Shore battery guns are usually in disappearing mounts, which means that after they fire, they can't be seen by the enemy to be targeted. They are from a stable gun position. Sometimes they're in bunkers or they're protected by concrete. Because they don't need to float, they often have way more protection than naval guns. And again, they're stable. They're on a solid platform, so they're usually more accurate. So, El Fraile Island ends up with 2 twin 14-inch gun turrets, which remember, 1/3 a naval gun, so that's equivalent to 12 14-inch guns, the same amount as are being built on contemporary ships like the Pennsylvania and New Mexico class. She has a secondary battery of 4 6-inch guns. Again, that equates to 12 6-inch guns. She had 2 3-inch anti-aircraft guns, and then by World War II, an extra 3-inch gun used to defend the rear of the fort where the turrets couldn't aim, and at least 2 50 caliber anti-aircraft guns had been added to the island to increase its defenses. So it seems like it doesn't have as much firepower as a battleship, but in reality, when you use that formula of shore batteries are worth 3 times a naval battery, it is right on par with contemporary battleships. The really interesting thing about Fort Drum is that it's an Army fort, right? Those are not naval turrets. It's not the twin 14-inch turret that you see on ships like Texas, New York, Nevada, and Oklahoma. It's a completely separately designed barrel It's only 40 calibers long, as opposed to 45 or 50 like you see on the other 14-inch ships. And it's in a completely separate turret. So the barrel is essentially the same as the 1907 barrel that the Army is using for other coastal defenses, except because there's two barrels in a turret instead of one in a disappearing mount or a casemate, it has to have breech doors that open in both directions, not just in one direction. So these new 1909 model guns, there are only 4 made. Like I said, they're 40 calibers long, so they're less long range than their naval counterparts. They only elevate to 15 degrees, so they've got a range of approximately 10 nautical miles. So again, relatively short-ranged, but they're very accurate even out to those maximum ranges because they can be sighted in ahead of time. They're not moving. In terms of armor protection, the gun turrets had 16-inch faceplates to protect them against enemy hits. The concrete roof was 20 feet thick of reinforced concrete, and the sides were 25 to 36 feet thick, depending on the area. So the fortress itself was proof against any projectile being used during World War II. The guns on top in their turrets were less proof. The turrets could still be knocked out. Their armor wasn't quite as thick as all that reinforced concrete. However, the benefit to a battleship-style rotating turret, as opposed to the Army-style casemates or disappearing guns, is because we're on an island, these turrets can more or less rotate 360 degrees. They don't quite have 360-degree arcs of fire, but normal coastal guns are sitting along the shore, and so they can only track about 120 degrees or so in front of them. They're not worried about what's behind them. And a number of forts, including Singapore, had issues during World War II because the Japanese didn't attack the forts head-on where the heavy naval guns could point. They attacked through the jungle at the back. The guns were unable to participate. That is not the case with El Fraile. Even though the Japanese do end up attacking over land instead of sailing through the entrance to Manila Bay, the 14-inch guns were able to rotate and engage Japanese targets during the Battle for the Philippines in 1942. The Japanese fired hundreds of shells at Fort Drum and did not kill a single American there. They only wounded 5, and they only knocked out some of the smaller guns, especially the ones exposed on top. But the turrets themselves continued firing until Corregidor Island surrendered. And then with that, all of the American forces on the Philippines were surrendered, including those on Fort Drum. So it was the last, one of the last American positions to surrender in the Philippines. Before surrendering, the crew essentially spiked the guns. I'm not quite sure how they did it, but they destroyed the 14-inch guns. And so in this picture, you can see that the gun barrels are sort of all cattywampus and point in all sorts of directions. The mountings for them were completely destroyed, so they couldn't be used. The garrison was comprised of 240 men when it fell. This included some Marines which had been evacuated from China and primarily Army troops. Interestingly, this picture is showing the concrete battleship as she looked in 1983. And by now you've lost a lot of the original features. You can't see the casemate guns anymore or the anti-aircraft guns built on top. But during World War II, this had a 60-foot tall observation tower on it that was a lattice mast, just like the cage masts on battleships. And this primarily held range-finding equipment and searchlights for illuminating targets trying to come into the harbor. It also had some wooden barracks on top. It was just a more comfortable place for the garrison to man. During the actual bombardment, these would have either been disassembled by their own garrison or completely destroyed in the bombardment. But that was okay because inside the concrete part of the island, check out some of these original blueprints. Inside the concrete part of the island were mess decks and berthing spaces and heads. Although it's the Army, so those are probably called something different. It even had an engine room and a boiler room so that they could run the generators for the lighting and pipe the steam into the steam motors that powered the turrets. In its concrete configuration, El Fraile Island was about 350 feet long, 144 feet wide, and stood about 40 feet out of the water with another 60-foot tower on top of it. It had a forward deck, which was about 9 feet shorter than the main deck. This allowed the turrets to superfire over each other. And then it had a basically waterline level platform where boats could come up and tie up. It also had a large crane on the stern of the island. The Japanese were no quicker to surrender Fort Drum than the Americans had been 2 years earlier. In 1944, when the United States was taking back the Philippines, Fort Drum was one of the last positions around Manila Bay to surrender, just like it had been under American control. The Americans were not interested in assaulting the fortification. Even though it no longer had the heavy guns, there was still a Japanese garrison of 68 men on the island. To destroy the position once and for all, the United States Navy first tried bombarding it. The Army Air Corps tried bombing it. Again, wasn't enough to defeat the concrete battleship. However, the Army came upon an ingenious way of destroying the fort once and for all. They pumped a ton of gasoline and diesel mixture down the air vents of the fort, and then set off a TNT warhead inside on a time delay fuse that detonated the fuel air bomb that they had created, which created a huge mushroom cloud and instantly killed all 68 Japanese soldiers of the garrison. At that point, the fortress had been destroyed to the point that it was no longer usable, and today it sits there unused. Much of the metal has been scrapped, and otherwise it makes a great foreground for pictures of Battleship New Jersey. This picture was chosen by a number of viewers like yourselves. If you're interested in submitting a picture of the battleship for a future Pictures Worth 1,000 Words video, there's a link in the description below to my Facebook page. You can't really submit pictures on YouTube, but if you go over to the Facebook page and drop it in a message to me there, I'll actually be able to see the picture. And it's not you describing the picture of the battleship firing its guns and me being like, well, which one? So that's a way to get your picture in a future Pictures Worth 1,000 Words. Have you ever heard of the concrete battleship? Let us know in the comment section down below if you've ever heard of this or other fortifications that use battleship-style guns. Battleship New Jersey receives operating support from the New Jersey Department of State, also from a number of other businesses and private individuals like yourselves. We really appreciate your support. There's a link in the description below if you'd like to donate to support the museum. You can also support us by liking, sharing, and subscribing so more people find about the museum and our channel. Thanks for watching. This picture's worth 1,000 words now comes with 10 times more pictures.